On behalf of the Entrepreneurship Development Cell and Incubation Center of St. Xavier's College, Kolkata, it is with great pleasure that I extend a warm welcome to each one and every one of you. It is with utmost honor, privilege, gratitude that I introduce to you a distinguished expert and inspirational leader, Ms. Vrinda Gupta, a renowned TEDx speaker, corporate trainer, and one of India's top 20 Sabaton voices. Ms. Gupta has been a catalyst for personal and professional transformation. With an impressive track record of empowering over 3,700 plus candidates, she has dedicated her career to equipping individuals with essential soft skills, confidence building techniques, and career enhancing strategies. Her expertise extends beyond training. She's a top voice extraordinaire, inspiring thousands through her thought, leadership, and impactful sessions. We are incredibly fortunate to have her with us today. Ms. Gupta, we are beyond delighted to welcome you and we sincerely appreciate you taking the time to engage with us. Your invaluable insights and expertise will undoubtedly leave a lasting impact on all our lives. On behalf of everyone here at EDCIC, I extend my best wishes to all participants for an insightful and inspiring learning experience during this session. I now hand over the proceedings of the meeting to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Ashika. That was such a warm and lovely introduction. So, thank you so much. And everyone over here in this entire team, yes, good afternoon, everyone. Can I just request the host to turn on the chat so I can have live interaction with all the students here, with all the 41 students who have joined?
Yes, ma'am, sure.
Yes, thanks. Thank you so much, Pradyum. Yes, good afternoon, Chirag. Can I just hear warm greetings from each and every one of you before we proceed? Chirag is the only person who has wished. What about the others? Can I have some engagement in the chat box, please? Yes, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Pradyum, is it okay if I just remove the spotlight because I want to see everyone in the meeting? Would that be okay?
Yes, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Just want to shift the spotlight from me to all the other students who have taken out their time to join. Yes, everyone in the chat box, thank you for the engagement. Yes, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. All right, so this is going to be a very interactive session. What I precisely do in my sessions is I ask a lot of questions. So feel free to share all your questions in the chat box, whether it's regarding resume, whether it's regarding interview prep or anything of that sort. Feel free to share. I personally believe that taking your questions is more important to me. So you have your questions addressed and you do not have any doubts or concerns over these topics that we're going to discuss for the next 1 hour. All right, so we're all going to talk about resume prep and interview preparation today. Okay, so before I proceed, can I just ask everyone how many of you are currently struggling in building your resume? That's my first question. How many of you, कितने लोगों को resume बनाने में problem हो रही है कि मैम I really don't know how to make, I'm not sure how to structure my resume, what to put in there, what to not add, how many pages can my resume be, anything. Everyone, can I just get some of your answers in the chat box, please? And it would be great if you all switch on your videos because then I can see you. It's better in terms of interaction. So please switch on your videos for the next 1 hour only, please. Yes. How many of you struggle in making your resume or even preparing for an interview? Just drop a me in the chat box so I know that you're one of us. Yes, I'd love to see some engagement. Me. Okay, lots of me's. All right. So today we're going to break all the stereotypes and myths associated around resume. I will tell you what an ideal resume looks like and what are the components or most important and crucial elements in a resume and how can you fill them for you specific to the job roles that you're trying to target or apply. Okay. So firstly, let me ask, are you people in your final year or in your second year or third year? Can you just let me know in the chat box? I just want to know like which year of graduation you people are currently on. Okay. So I get a fair idea. Okay. It's a mix of first and second, I believe. Second year with the hats off. Okay. Okay. So it's a mix. It's a hybrid basically of first and second years. All right. So let's start first with resume building and then we will move on to interview prep because interview prep cannot be done without you knowing what needs to go in your resume or your CV. Okay. So now let's talk about resume. The first most important question that I have for all of you. How many of you are aware what is an ATS friendly resume? ATS, ATS. If you're aware, just write yes. If you're not aware, just write no. It's just for me to get an idea if you people are aware of these templates. Okay, no, 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 no. Okay, lots of no's. Lovely. So that's going to be a good start for our session then. Okay. There are 43 people. Only 10 people are interacting. The others, please do write your responses in the chat box. It will help me to address your queries better. All right. Okay. So most of it is no, is what I see. Okay. Let's talk about this. Let me drop this name in the chat box for you all. Just a second. Okay. There you have put it in the chat box. It's called ATS Friendly Resume Template. Now, let me also give you the full form of what an ATS is. Okay, there you go. It's called Applicant Tracking System. Okay, it's something that we're not familiar with, but something that's been happening for X number of years, and right now it's most dominating. Okay, I'll tell you why. Now, what happens is, let's say I'm posting a job of a branch manager, let's say, and you people are applying. Let's say 43 of you have applied for this job. Now, as an HR, it's not just 43 of you who are going to apply for this job. There are so many other freshers or experienced professionals who will really like this job profile and they would want to apply. So I will have a minimum applications of say 500 to 800. Okay. So now when I have these many applications, do you think as an HR, for me, it is manually possible to scan each of these resumes and shortlist? Let me know in the chat box. So let's say I have 500 applicants for this job role of a branch manager. I'm an HR. Do you think I have that much time to manually review each of those applications and then shortlist? Okay. Lakshya, you're looking at the camera only, right? Because you're turned towards the
My
side, so I'm
camera
not
angle
sure.
is a bit sideways. Sorry.
Yes. Okay. No problem, Lakshya. Thanks for the clarity. Okay. No, right? I do not have that much time to do it. So now this is not the only job profile or the only job opening in my company. There are going to be 10 other job postings on an average. So imagine the number of applications that I'm going to receive. And if I manually scan each of them, it is technically and humanly impossible for me to actually scan each of these CVs. That's where the role of an ATS comes, which is also called applicant tracking system. Now, what is an applicant tracking system? So it's basically an AI tool. We all know that we are living in the world of an AI, right? We all know that AI is everywhere. It's trending. It has a huge scope. So now this AI tool, it is also called the ATS tool, which is applicant tracking system. What it does, it makes my job easier. Okay, as simple as that. What it's going to do is when you people are posting or when you people are applying for jobs, no matter how many applications I receive, it's going to first be scanned by this AI tool. So technically, AI tools will have no emotions. Okay, we all know. AI tool is not going to be empathetic or understanding towards you. An AI tool is not going to analyze how desperate or how badly you need this job. What an AI or what an AI robot is going to do, just make sure that, okay, if I'm shortlisting this resume, is it the right fit for this job role that's been posted by the HR, which is me? In this scenario. That's what an ATS is going to do. So now let's say these 500 applications for the position of a job profile of branch manager is going to be scanned by an ATS. It's going to shortlist and let's say give me 20 or 30 applications, which matches the ATS score of at least 80% or so to say 75% and above. There are also certain ATS AI tools which have an optimization rate of 80% plus, which means if your resume does not get a score of 80 plus on an ATS, your resume is not going to come to me at all. It will just be rejected and you'll get an automated mail that, sorry, we regret to inform you that you've not been shortlisted. Unfortunately, we'll not be moving ahead with you. A lot of us have come across these mails or we have heard from people. Where does this mail come from? The ATS tool. So that's what an ATS is going to do, making my job easier. So now out of 500, I just have 20 or 30 best fit applications to review. And then I'm going to take my own sweet time of a week or two to go through these applications, see which fits right, and then send you a message that we'd like to schedule an interview with you. So, whatever is this entire process that you know about a resume optimization, selection, rejection email, why am I not getting selected? Why is my resume not getting shortlisted? Why am I not cracking interviews? Is all because of this ATS tool. And that's why it's called the applicant tracking system. It tracks and it gives you a score out of 100. So, ideally, if your score is less than 75, your application most likely is going to be rejected, even if you have all the skills that you need for that role. Now, the next question comes in your minds that I was the right fit for this role. I had all the skills, I have experience, I have so many achievements. Why am I not shortlisted? Because the way you have communicated in your resume is not aligning with the code of ATS. Very simple. So this AI tool runs by a code. Everything runs with a code, right? So the code is constructed or structured or programmed in such a manner that it's got certain criteria. And every time it scans your resume, it's going to check for all these criteria. Yes, okay, great, score plus. No, okay, score minus. Yes, plus. And then at the end, it adds all the score and then sees if your application is going to come to me or not. So that's called an ATS friendly resume template. No matter which job in the world you're applying for, India, US, UK, Australia, Europe, anywhere, okay, without an ATS score, you cannot get an interview call. So even before we start preparing for our interviews, you need to start preparing and optimizing your resume. That's the biggest mistake that you people make as freshers or as students studying in a very prominent university. We have been often told that always, okay, start preparing for your interviews, these are your questions, great. But if you don't get an interview scheduled, when are you going to speak to an interviewer? When are you going to give an interview? So let's go back. Let's use the concept of reverse psychology. Now in this psychology, people say that first optimize your resume, make sure if your resume is ATS friendly, and then start applying. And when you hear back from a recruiter, understand that your resume is working. And that's when you start preparing for your interview. Do not start preparing for your interview unless and until you start receiving interview calls. If you receive them, know that your resume is ATS compliant. If you don't, rework on it. Now, the second thing, the job market is highly saturated. Highly. Okay. So let me be very clear to you people in telling you that you have to be applying for a lot many number of roles to at least hear back from one recruiter. Ideally, there can be two cases. Either your resume is not working or the market is saturated. Now, once I teach you what an ATS compliant CV is, I don't see a problem in you having that particular challenge. But in the second case, you don't hear back from a recruiter, the first instinct of yours is going to be giving up or feeling demotivated. But that's not because of you, it's purely because of the job market. And the job market in India is highly saturated at this point of time. Every client that I've trained for an interview prep or every student that I've coached for an interview prep session, they have applied for 100 plus jobs and heard back only from two recruiters. It's because the market is so saturated. So don't feel demotivated if you don't hear back from them. Give yourself an average time of at least 1 month to get one call. Because on an average, recruiters take 1 month to get back to you. 1 month. So let's say you're consistently applying for 10 jobs every day for 5 days a week. Okay. So technically in a month, you're applying for 100 plus odd jobs. So wait till you have that many applies. Wait for an average of a month to hear back from a recruiter. You will not get any instant gratification when it comes to your resume shortlisting. Things don't happen overnight. It's going to take a lot of time. That's what HRs do. So I want you to firstly have a lot of patience in your job application process. It's not going to happen overnight. So these are the two things that I wanted to highlight to you before even getting into the concept of how can you make your ATS friendly resume. Okay, so that's very important. Now, when I'm talking about job applications, when do you think, okay, or let me ask you this. How many days a week do you think you need to apply for jobs? Please write in the chat box. See, there's no right or wrong. Okay, I've also learned with a lot of practice, um, was coached by a top resume expert to actually conclude these things that I'm trying to tell you. So, of course, it requires a lot of research. But what I want you people to say is, what are your thoughts? Only then I'll be able to handle your queries better. So, write in the chat box, how many days a week do you think it is optimal to apply for jobs? Yes. 2 to 3, 3, 5, okay. 4, 3 to 4, 3 to 5, 4, 5, 3 to 4. Okay, so in an average, what I see all of you quoting is somewhere between 3 and 4. Okay, I can see that. All right, thank you. Now, you need to ideally apply for jobs 4 days: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'll tell you why. Friday is a weekend. You people are also on a weekend mode on Friday. Oh my God, it's Saturday. So, do you think HRs will not be in that mood? They would want to actually get out of this frustration even more than you because they have been reviewing applications the entire week. Friday is basically a weekend mood for each and every one of us over here. So, I will have absolutely no interest to sit and review your resume on a Friday. And when you apply on a weekend, it's total waste of your time and effort. Second, very less chances that you will get noticed. I'll tell you how. Now, let's say over the weekend you've applied. You've applied for 2 jobs. Okay. Now, on Monday and Tuesday, strategic people who know when to apply for jobs, they're going to sit in the first half in the morning and start applying for jobs. Now, Monday, I'm walking into the office at 10 a.m., quickly just finishing whatever I have to do, start reviewing resumes from 11 a.m. Whose resume is going to be at the topmost stack? People who have applied early in the morning today, because that's the most recent application submitted. That's your most updated resume that's going to reach out to me. So, no matter how talented you people are and you spend a lot of time during the weekend doing this while others were chilling, if I find in the first hour, if I get 10 applications which I think are the best fits, I'm not going to consider yours. That's the brutal truth. I know it's unfair, but if you already know this, then you will know how to strategize, right? Then probably you're going to sit on a Monday and apply and not over the weekend. So give yourself some time and space on the weekend and chill. Do not apply for jobs on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Never works. The most ideal days for you to apply for jobs is between Monday and Thursday. Monday, Tuesday being the most prominent days of the week for you to apply for jobs. That's when 70% of the HRs are most actively reviewing your CVs. And of course, you have Wednesday and Thursday as well. Try to sit in the first half of the morning. Let's say between 8:30 to 11ish, whenever you find the time. That's when the most updated resume is going to come to me as an HR. So be very strategic and smart on when you're submitting your applications. Second thing is, try not to sit in the evening and apply for jobs, because I am leaving the office, right? So I don't really care if your application comes to me at 6 p.m. I have a movie. I have booked a movie ticket in the evening, so I'm just going to go for that and not sit and review your resumes. So try applying in the first half in the morning. That's very, very important. Okay, so that's something that you have to do between Monday and Thursday. Don't apply on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Now, another important thing, when you're applying for jobs, now let's say Monday I've applied for 5 jobs, Tuesday I've applied for 3 jobs. Wednesday, I'm like, okay, I'll take a break. I'm just too tired. And then I apply on Thursday. It does not work. You need to be very consistent in your application, which means even if you're not hearing back from the recruiter, even if it's a lot of hard work, even if it stresses you out, it is going to happen. I'm being very honest. I can't sugarcoat. Job applications are not easy. Certain people, you can just hit the easy apply button on LinkedIn and apply. Sometimes you can just upload your resume and apply, but certain companies will ask you to apply on their company site. And that will require you to fill so much more information for which you need research and how you're going to align your skills with this job role. So it's not going to be easy. It's not a cakewalk, but you need to be consistent. Even if you have applied for 3 jobs instead of 5, it's good, no problem. But at least apply for 3 jobs and make sure that every day you are consistently applying from Monday to Thursday and not taking a break in between. You can take your break from Friday to Sunday. That's how you can apply your jobs, and that's how the job application strategy works. Okay, till here are we good? Or all of you aligned with me so that we can go to the resume part now? Yes, everyone, can I just hear from you in the chat box? Okay. Okay. All right. Superb. Anybody has any questions in between, please feel free to drop it in the chat box. All right. Okay. Now I'm going to show you an ATS friendly template. I'm going to tell you why is that template like this? What are the different sections? Why are they important? And how can you fill it for you? All right. So just allow me to share my screen. 1 second. Okay. And a lot of people also feel that when you can use resume templates from Canva or from any AI tool that's giving you some very flowery and vibrant kind of a template. No, it'll never work. It will never ever work. So I'll just show you a template. 1 second. Yeah. Okay. Just let me know when my screen is visible. You can take a screenshot of this template and make it on your own. Unfortunately, I'm not advised to share this template with you all because these are premium templates. But yes, feel free to take screenshot and make your template suitably. Okay. Just wanted to confirm my screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. All right. Okay. Thank you. So now let's see. Now this template is what I call an ATS friendly template. Very classic, very neat, very brief, concise, not too much, not too less, very, very professional. Now, this is a template that works pan India and even in UK. So you can, whenever you're applying for jobs, you can use this for pan India and for UK. Unfortunately, US, Australia have different templates, so we're not going to talk about that. We're just going to talk about the pan India template. Now, if you see over here, this is the first thing that you need to do is write your name, your full name as per your original documents like your Aadhaar or PAN. And here you're going to write the job role that you're applying for. I repeat, here you're going to write the job role that you're applying for. That means, let's say if you're applying for the role of a financial analyst. So you're going to write aspiring financial analyst. Why are you writing aspiring? Is because you're freshers. So when I see this, I know that you're a fresher. But if you just would write financial analyst, I would assume that you have an experience. That's a difference. So when you write aspiring, I know that you're somebody who is very keen on pursuing this job of being a financial analyst. So which means if you have 3 different job roles that you're interested in, 3 different CVs. Why? Because ATS works on keywords. If you're using the same resume for another job role, those keywords and this keywords is not going to match. So the AI tool will write a big no because there's no keyword matching, which means you don't have the skills that I need. So why will I, as a robot, send this resume to an HR? According to me, you're not the right fit. So people who tell that you need to have one resume and then keep applying to jobs, no. If you have only one job role that you're targeting, great. If you're targeting 3 job roles, 4, 5, how many ever, X, Y, or Z, that many resumes you need to have, and those each and every resume of that should be keyword optimized according to that job role. So here's when you're going to write a job role. Then comes the next section, which is contact me. Please do not add your photos in your CV unless HR explicitly asks you to, which should not be the case. because photo in your resume is not the right format for an Indian CV. Second, India people are biased. They'll see your photo and decide if they want to select you or not. Let's be very, very honest with that. So, no adding your pictures on your CV because, yes, people are biased. Sorry, can't help it. And I think boys will understand that better because they know that why mostly girls get selected for a certain role and boys don't, which is why please don't add your picture. You'll directly have this section which is called as contact me. Now in here, as you can see, all the prompts have been mentioned. So when you take a screenshot, you'll exactly know what you need to write. So you'll write your complete address, your city, your state, and your PIN code. But when you're writing your PIN code, don't write zip and then put the PIN code. No, just directly. For example, if I'm from Mumbai, I'm just going to say Mumbai 400666. That's it. I'm not going to explicitly write zip code. No, this is just a prompt for you people to know, okay, what goes where. And then comes this, your email ID. Please have a very professional email ID. Okay, I've seen people write funky, chunky, what great hero, I don't know what not. Okay, so if you have an email ID which has those kind of words, please create another one which is professional. For example, mine is Vrinda Gupta 02 at Gmail. Professional. Write your birth year, birth month, or everything put together, that digits, which is easy for you to remember. A professional email ID is not a necessity, it is mandatory. And below that is your LinkedIn link. So you will copy your LinkedIn link and you will paste it here. Now there's a format on how you can edit your LinkedIn URL. Are we familiar with that? Are you people familiar with how to take your LinkedIn URL? Okay, superb. Do you know how to edit your LinkedIn URL? Let me know that. You people know how to edit? Okay, great. For those of you who have written no, it's very simple. You go to your profile, okay, and on the right pane, okay, you will find something as your public URL. Click on that, and then you'll see a pencil. You can just edit. So all these alphanumeric digits can be avoided, and you can just have your full name. Okay, so your LinkedIn URL goes in here. Very important because every recruiter is going to scan your LinkedIn, which is why you need to have a good and optimized LinkedIn profile for you. So that goes in contact me. Then comes this section, which is personal summary. Forget old and conventional CVs where they write career objective. No, does not work. New words, new culture, new evolution. So everything is brand new. It's not the same. Personal summary. Now, as you can see, I've given you a prompt here. What goes in your personal summary is you can take the help of AI, but then modify it and write it on your own. You can take the help of AI for support. What you need to do is whatever's your existing CV, okay, that you have, just upload it on the AI tool and share the job description, copy paste the job description on your AI tool and give AI tool this prompt that please take the role of a resume writer. Give AI a role. Do not directly generate any responses. This is a trick. You have to do like a role play where you're assigning a role to the robot so they can give you better and optimized answers. So tell this AI that, look, I want you to take on the role of a resume writing expert. I've shared my job description, I've shared my CV. Write a personal summary for me. It's going to generate a personal summary. Use that, but write it on your own. That's just for you to get an idea as to what goes in your personal summary. Personal summary. Now, what goes in your personal summary? You people are currently pursuing your education, your graduation. So the first question is, ma'am, I don't have any achievements. I don't have work experience. Let me address this with a food for thought. When you go to an HR for an interview or when you've applied for that role, it's already mentioned in the job posting that they require freshers or they're open to hiring freshers. So if they've already mentioned that and you're going for that role, why do you think you're inferior? Because the HR really wants to hire freshers. So then why are you afraid of being a fresher? There's nothing to be uncertain about at all. Understand this mindset. When I, as an HR, am telling you I'm okay with freshers, then why are you mulling over it or why are you sad or concerned about it? You should be happy that, okay, freshers are considered. The point is how you're going to present yourself as a fresher. How are you going to map your skills with the job role? How are you passionate about this job role? What do you know about this job role? All these things matter. So even if you're a fresher, be relaxed, because we are also looking to hire freshers only. So now over here, what you have to do is again open an AI tool. Tell them this is the course that you're pursuing and whatever is the job role or job description. Ask AI tool to generate common skills from both. They're also called as transferable skills. Okay, let me write it in the chat box. Transferable skills also called as common skills. Now, this is what you're going to do is what is called keyword or skill mapping. This is what is going to get you shortlisted, which means let's say there's an operations role that you're applying for, and sorry, and you have your CV. Now you're going to tell AI that list out the transferable skills. So between operations and between your current degree that you're pursuing, there could be various common skills: critical thinking, communication, decision making, analyzing, research, emotional intelligence, team management, team collaboration. So many are there. So you're going to highlight those skills in your CV because they are directly proportional to the skills in the job role that you are applying for. And those are the skills that you're going to sprinkle all over your CV and even in your interview responses. That shows how clear you are with the job role and how aware you are of your strengths, of your skills. Now, the next thing is whatever three top skills you're choosing, have 5 stories around it. 5 stories. We all love stories. We watch movies for stories and plots. You need to have your own stories. Understand that interview is all about storytelling. People who are creating this hype about interviews, oh my god, HR, oh my god, what is going to happen, oh my god, what is she going to say, what is he going to say. Interview is a conversation with an HR. It's for them to see if you're the right fit and for you to see if this is what you want to do. Understand another thing: if you are in need of a job, they also need to hire, and if they don't, then they'll be questioned by the senior management. So you're there to help them and they are there to help you. It's mutual. So don't have any inferiority complex with an HR. Learn 5 stories where you have used your 3 skills, where you have solved a problem, where you have achieved something, where you have gone through something. 5 real stories you need to learn and go for your interview. Why? Because let's say Pradyum is my HR, I'm learning 5 stories and going. When I see him, I'm going to be so nervous. I'm going to be anxious. My anxiety is going to shoot up. I'll forget 3 stories. I'll remember at least 2. I still can survive. But if I only learn one and go, I'll forget everything and then I'm blanked out. And then I don't think anything can happen. Right? So I'm giving you a backup plan. 5 stories. Let's say between operations and between this, you have 3 top skills that you've chosen for yourself that you genuinely have: communication, decision making, team collaboration. Talk about those times when you have used those skills, whether a project, okay, whether with your family situation, whether with your friends, whether with your relatives, whether in a class situation, while doing a case study, anything. And that's exactly that you're going to highlight in your interview answers and in your CV. This is what we call skill mapping. And this you have to do for every job role that you are applying, irrespective, because every job role is going to require different keywords, different skills, and you need to select those top 3 skills that ideally matches with you. Now you might ask, why 3 skills, ma'am? Because it's psychology. Our brain is wired in such a format that we remember 3 things. We'll not remember 2, we'll not remember 4. You look at any IPL matches, any reality shows, any award shows, they always announce the winner and then they recap that 3 to 4 times. Why? Because they emphasize. And we remember that. That's called the power of 3. So always remember 3 of your strengths, 3 of your skill sets that you're going to highlight in your CV. Up until here, are we clear? What's the motive? Why we do skill mapping? How can you do? Yes, can I see some answers in the chat box? So I know that we're aligned. Okay, great. So now I'm going to reshare my screen. Yes. So as you can see in this prompt, whatever educational summaries that you have and the job role, list out the common skills. Talk about any project or case study that you've done. and any achievements if you have. And then you need to talk about why are you passionate about this job role? Why are you? There should be some reason, some motivation, some, what would I say, a purpose as to why you're pursuing this. Talk about it. For example, if you see this CV, I'll show you this. Okay. Now, in this, if you see, you're applying for the role of an operations specialist here. Okay. Can you see this? A result driven professional with a commitment to leadership and continuous improvement, bringing significant value to a team. So, this shows your purpose, your passion. What can you bring to the table? What can you do for the organization? What can you do for the company? What can you do for the team? That's what we're talking about. And all this with the help of AI, you can generate, but write in your own words. Very important. So, that's what goes into your personal summary. Your education, what skills, any projects, any achievements, and then your passion and purpose for that particular job role. That's very important because your personal summary is like a teaser to your CV. Just like when you watch Hava movie trailer, you would really wanted to go because you thought that movie is going to be so powerful. And it indeed was, right? So the same way. For recruiters, this is your teaser. If they like it, they would want to read it more. And if they don't, they've made it in their mind that no, I don't want to go through this resume further. So that is your personal summary. Oh, I'm so sorry. I've shared this again. So sorry. One second. Okay. Then comes your technical skills. Any software, any tool that you have knowledge on, whether it's MS Office, MS Word, MS PowerPoint, Excel, Tally, whatever that you have, Canva, you can write all that here. Then comes the main part. Now, instead of work experience, we are going to talk about directly about personal summary. I'm sorry, about educational summary. I'll tell you what that is. Okay. Now, I've skipped work experience part. Directly come here. Personal skills. Same thing. Copy paste the job description, talk about your educational degree or mention your degree there, and ask AI to generate common interpersonal skills that are required. It will give you about 15. Take 6 to 8 only, not more than that. You look overqualified, over promising, and fake. Let's be normal, genuine. The basis, the year of your graduation. So then, once you do, it'll give you 10, 15, a list of 10, 15 skills. Select 6 to 8 which you genuinely have and which you have shown in earlier times, whether it's personal life, professional life, educational life, anywhere. And write those skills here. They could be strategic thinking, emotional intelligence, team collaboration, leadership, decision making, critical thinking, analytical skills, communication skills, presentation skills, networking, team time management, stress management, any of these. That's what goes in here in your personal skills. Then we are talking about this very important and the most crucial element for all of you considering you're in your first or second year. Your education summary, something which any of the freshers who do not write, and that's how you're going to be different from all other people. Educational summary is just like your personal summary, a teaser about what you have learned, what skills you acquired, what are your achievements, and what is your score. I repeat, what you have learned, what skills have you equipped yourself with, what are your achievements or results, whether it's from a project or any other achievement, and what is your score. You'll exactly follow this format. You'll write your degree first, then your college name, comma, location, bar, graduation year, Jan 2016 to December 2018. Example, exactly like this. This has to be the format. So yes, you're free to take a screenshot of this. Now, if you see this, I've given you a prompt. You can choose to write a description of your degree and any relevant projects. So go back to your friend, which is your AI tool. Tell them what project you have done, what course you are pursuing, what could be the common skills. Talk about the project that you have done. And then tell the AI to generate an educational summary. It's going to generate a summary highlighting your important modules. Now, let me tell you what that is. If you're applying for an operations role, You have to write, let's say, you will have to write modules on data management. For example, if you're applying for a marketing role, then if you have studied modules on marketing and branding, you'll mention that. If you're applying for a sales role, then you're going to mention modules on communication and business communication and persuasion. Example I'm giving you. So each and every job role will require you to have different modules knowledge that you have acquired through your graduation, your entire graduation. So it's only going to list those modules which are relevant to the job role. And then you can tweak it basis your human touch and write it. Apart from this, if you have won any awards, any achievements, if you have volunteered, please mention that as well. And then below that or just next to the graduation year, you can put another bar and write your CGPA or whatever. Is it in the form of CGPA or percentages? Feel free to write it there. That's what you're going to write. That's exactly your educational summary, how it needs to be. Then you have certificates. So in that, bullet points one below the other. Same thing, just like degree, college name, graduation year, same. The name of the certification, comma, from where you have done, comma, duration. Same way, if there are any. And if you have not done, there are a lot of resources on Harvard, LinkedIn, Udemy. I'm not able to recall more names. I'll have to check. But all these kind of platforms give you free resources, free certification programs. So you can do it on the kind of job roles that you're seeking. That will increase your experience and knowledge. And then put them here. Why? Because when a recruiter sees that, oh my God, okay, she's already studying at Xavier's, it's a very reputed college, but apart from this, she or he has taken extra time to do some extra certification. This will make me feel, okay, you're genuinely very passionate and diligent. My impression for you has heightened as opposed to any other candidate who would not have done a certification. So that's how you can distinguish yourself from other candidates of your same age pursuing the same course from any other reputed university. Do these free certifications, does not take too much of your time. Sit over the weekend when you're not applying for jobs and you can do this. And then comes your achievement voluntary project. All three are different sections. I've just put it as a slash so you know that these three are there. Achievement, separate section. Talk about what you achieved. That's it. Don't explain. Oh my God, I did that. I did that. No. Awarded or recognized as whatever you want. Next section, voluntary. If you have done any NGO for any non-profit organization, if you have volunteered, mention. Same way, volunteered for by raising awareness on. Example. So when you write voluntary, if you have not volunteered yet, trust me, you're all living in metro cities. There are so many NGOs next to you. Just call up one or two and tell them that you want to volunteer and mention it here. Now you might ask, ma'am, what difference is it going to make? Volunteering, working with an NGO, and then applying for a job. Let me tell you, you're a fresher. So when HRs look for freshers, they look for people who are also very compassionate and who want to make an impact in the society. So when I see that you're doing something like this, my respect for you is heavy because I genuinely see that you want to give it back to your society. So my interest in your application is much more. That's why I write voluntary, to showcase how compassionate you are and how you are contributing for the welfare of the society and to make an impact. And then comes your project. Now, this project, you can also put it under your educational summary. Whatever project is that you have done. And I would suggest if you can get into some freelancing opportunity or any kind of internship, which eventually you will be doing, I'm sure, but please do get into that. So you can mention about that in your projects and you can talk about your internship as well. And then this references section, you people can completely avoid. This is for working professionals. Now, let's say if you're going to mention your internships, how are you going to mention it? Let's go here. So instead of your work experience, you're just going to write internship. Remove work experience, just internship. Rest, everything remains the same. What was your role? Which company, location, and then duration. Same format. Now, in internship, just have 2 to 3 bullet points, not more. Nothing more than 3 bullet points. Minimum 1, 2, it can go up to 3. 2 would be ideal. How are you going to write your internship bullet points? Each bullet point, you should talk about what you did, how you did, and what you achieved. Let me show you through a sample where this content has been worked upon for someone, you'll be able to understand it better. Now let's see over here. Just see this one, the one that I'm highlighting. See how have I written? Oh, I'm so sorry. So take initiative in customer engagement by consistently following up. So what I did, I took initiative in customer engagement by following up. For what? To ensure real-time updates. What did I achieve from that? 90% customer satisfaction rate and 15% decrease in escalations. So basically what I did, how I did, and what I achieved. Very, very important. That's exactly how you're going to write each bullet point under your internship section. You can take a screenshot of this as well, but I'm going to show you how you can effectively also browse through Google to get these kind of templates where you can understand how to structure these responses better. Okay, just allow me a minute to get to there. Meanwhile, everybody, you can just write in the chat box if you're all aligned with me till here. It will just help me to understand things better. And let me show you how can you write your work experience section. Just a second. And I'll also share this link with you. So you can just see that for, okay. Now let's see this. Okay, 1 second. There's a query, I think. Ma'am, one query. Okay. Should one apply continuously to the same job? Yeah, if it's by different companies, why not? But not in the same company. You look very desperate. So now let's see this. You can easily get it on Google. I'm just trying to explain you the formula. Can you see this Google screen in front of you people?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Thanks, Pradyum. Can you see this? Optimized SEO strategy, boosting organic search traffic by 60%. So what we do in our job roles is we'll just tell that we were working on SEO strategies and trying to boost organic search. That is something that even I know when you're applying for a marketing role as an HR. I don't want to see that on your CV. I want to see how you did and what you did differently, what you achieved. That's why your CV does not get shortlisted. So if you're telling that you're working on the SEO strategy, what did you do? You optimized it. First step, what you did. Optimized SEO strategy and boost organic search traffic. How you did? Here you can talk about by using your maybe your communication, research skills, and any technical knowledge that you have. What did you achieve? You increased the search traffic by 60%. That's how you write your work experience in your resume. X, Y, and Z rule. I'll just write it for you people in the chat box for your reference, but you can easily also find it. Let me put it here. XYZ rule of your work X. So it is going to be your X is what you did, which is your action verbs. I'll tell you what that is. I'm just putting it in a bracket for you people. And then we talk about Y. Y is how you did. So here we talk about your soft skills and your hard skills, if any. And then finally, you talk about the Z component, which is what did you achieve? Results. Could be measurable, that is using numbers, or not. It's fine. So as you can see, I put in the chat box. So what you did, how you did using your soft skills is mandatory. If you have used any technical tools, talk about it and what you achieved. Now, what are action verbs? They are substitutes for the wrong and cliche words you use, like I'm hardworking, I'm a very strong candidate, I have good communication skills. Rather than saying that, we have better words to use. Okay, let me show you what action verbs are. Just a second. You only have to use action verbs throughout your resume. No other weak word you cannot use. I'm sharing this link with you all. Just select the words basis what you did. That's all that you have to do. Okay, so here goes the link for you people to extract your action verbs for your CV. And now let me share my screen and show you these action verbs so you understand a little bit more. Okay, are you able to see this Indeed page that I've shared? Yes? No? Can you all see this Indeed page, everyone?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay, great. So now see this. As you scroll down, I've shared the link with you people. See here. See, if you have achieved something, use these words. If you have if you've taken responsibility for something, let's say, that's what you're going to write. Then, if you have communicated something, these are the words you'll use. If you have created something by yourself, these are the words you'll use. And if you have done some research or analysis, these are the words. And there's so much more here. So basically, these are the only words that you'll be using throughout your resume, and you're not going to use any other weak word. So that is your entire resume construction from scratch for all of you people. Till here, are we all clear? Anybody has any questions up until here? Please do write in the chat box and let me know. Yes, if there's any particular thing that I've failed to address or any extra question or concern you have, just giving you all a minute or two, do process all the information and write in the chat box if you still have any question. And if you have understood, so just please write yes in the chat box so I know. How often do cold emails work? If you're lucky and if your email is great, it does. And if they have an opening, but can't predict. There's no prediction ratio or something like that. But cold emailings do work. More than that, what you can do is when you are applying for jobs. So whenever you apply, you can see the hiring team on LinkedIn, who's hiring or who works. Send a cold pitch connection request to them by sharing your CV. That this is what I'm applying for. These are my skills. I got to know that there's a job opening. I'd love to know more about this or discuss about this. I've also attached my resume for your reference. Super excited to hear from you. That's a cold pitch. Send it to them. Sometimes they do accept it and they revert back to you. They ask you for your details. A lot of my clients have got interview job offers like that. But for sometimes it's not worked as well. Totally depends upon the person, upon the hiring process, the vacancies if they have. So all those factors also work. But yes, if you ask me, should I be doing this? Please go ahead and do it. Very important. Yes. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. Are we all aligned till here, everyone? Can you just write in the chat box so I know that we're all aligned? Okay. All right. Okay. Great. So now coming back on how you can prepare for your interviews. Okay, I'll just give you a very brief overview on how you can do that. So 70% of the HRs today, you know what they're doing? They do not have time to sit and frame so many questions for each one of you. Okay. Sometimes you might think, where are the questions coming from? What could they possibly ask? We're all frightened, right? What they do is whatever job role is that they have for which they have created a vacancy or shared a poster, they put that job role, okay, on AI, on an AI tool. And they tell AI, they give AI the role. Like I said, they assign AI roles. And they tell AI, okay, list down the possible questions that I can ask to these candidates. And that's how they list out the questions for you people. To make it worse or to make it a little more rigid, what they do is they change the prompt of the AI. They tell that, okay, now you've listed these questions. They are very broad and generic. If I want to assess particularly this skill of a candidate or this technical skill of a candidate, refine the questions for me further. So sometimes when you see the HR grilling you, or when you've heard that they were asking so many questions, different questions, I don't know from where these questions came, it comes from here. Because they don't have time to sit and frame questions for you all, they're busy reviewing resumes. So 70% of the recruiters do this. So when you give recruiter this prompt, what you need to do is, you know, the job description, copy paste it, put your CV over there and tell the AI that, okay, I'm assigning you this role. Now list out what are the possible interview questions that can come for me from an HR standpoint. You'll get 10 to 15 questions with some sample answers as well as how you can answer those questions. Start practicing them. To further refine it, tell them that, okay, if the HR wants to assess my soft skills or the HR wants to assess my technical skills, what are the possible questions can an HR ask? It will further come refined basis how they can assess your different skill set. You can also see those questions, analyze, and then learn how to answer them basis whatever response you have got. So ideally in today's AI world, AI is going to help you to prepare for an interview much better than anyone else because HRs also get your interview questions from the AI tool. So that's how you prepare for an interview. Now let's talk about different interview questions. There's one interview question which is commonly asked interview questions like give us your intro, where do you see yourself in 5 years, why should we hire you? All of these questions you can take up from your resume, which I've taught you, by highlighting your common skills that you have. And for every skill, for all the three skills that you're sharing, talk about one story where you use those skills and what you achieved. Now, there are certain type of questions called as behavioral and situational based questions, very important for you people. Let me write it in the chat box for you people. Behavioral and situational based questions. Now, these questions are to assess how you react or respond to situations, what skills you have, how have you used it in your past. Now, these questions often start with this. Yes. So now if you see, these questions are often talking about your past experience or even putting you in a hypothetical situation. So when there are questions talking about your past experience, like tell me about a time, describe a time, एक ऐसे time के बारे में बताइए. So this is about a past experience where you have applied those skills and you have achieved something. But that's called a behavioral question. Situational question is more like talking about futuristic point. It's more hypothetical. For example, if I can see Harshita and she's my candidate, I'll tell, okay, Harshita, imagine that you're working with us, working with our team. Your two team members, Ragini and Pradyum, have gone on a personal emergency and you urgently have a presentation tomorrow with your entire team. What are you going to do? That's called a situational based question because I'm putting her in a hypothetical situation, something that's not happened with her at all. So these are two different kinds of questions to see whether you react or you respond, how you respond, what skills you use, and what you can achieve to assess your behavior. In both these cases, there's this technique that you're going to use. It's called the STAR method. S stands for situation. I'll explain that. One second, just let me put it in the chat box. That talks about what you did. T stands for task, what you had to do. A talks about action, that is, what soft skills and hard skills, if any, you used to handle a situation. I'll explain it with an example, don't worry. And then talking about R, which is result. What did you achieve? There you go. So for these kind of questions, this is the technique. STAR method. Situation, task, action, result. So let's talk about this situation that I gave Harshita. For example, if you ask me, then okay, Vrinda, tell me about a time when you had to go through a challenge and how did you overcome it? Okay, now that's a very, very basic question that even can be asked to a fresher, someone like you people. So I'll start with a situation. I'll tell, okay, just last week, Our entire team had to do a very important presentation on our final year case study to our faculties. Okay, that's my situation. And then two members from our team suddenly had a medical emergency and they said they would not be available for the presentation tomorrow. That's my situation. I've told them what happened. Now I'm telling them the task. So, what I had to do now, we as a team had to manage in such a manner that we were able to deliver our presentation on time, considering it's a final year case study. That's my task. Now, action, I'm going to talk about my soft skills and if any hard skills I've used. So, I'll tell that as a team, I collaborated with my team, took the leadership of getting onto a call, delegating tasks to each one on what we can talk about, restructuring our entire presentation through active listening and decision making skills. I said what I did, which action I used through my soft skills. Now, what was the result? As a result, the next day we were able to deliver our presentation on time to our faculties and we were also recognized for our efforts. So that is situation, task, action, result. Whenever you get situation or behavior based questions, you'll always use STAR technique. What happened, what you had to do, what you did, what you achieved. Same like work experience, the XYZ rule, no difference. That's just called XYZ rule for a resume. This is called STAR technique for your interview. So these are different kinds of questions that can pop up whenever you are appearing for interviews. Now let's talk about a little bit about the checklist. Okay, but before that, everyone is aligned. Anybody has any doubts, any questions? Till here, all good? Yes, can I see some answers in the chat box, please? So I know that we're aligned. Okay, thank you. So now a checklist, a final checklist. Always research the company before you go for an interview. Their mission, vision, their projects, their achievements, very important. Okay, what their culture is like. Second, make sure that you practice commonly asked questions like what I told you, and you use the STAR technique for these questions. Have 5 stories with you ready always so that you have backup in case you're anxious and you miss out on any kind of story that you had to share. Always carry 2 copies of your resume, 2 hard copies. Why? Because if an HR tells you that, okay, Ragini, can you please share your resume? I'll be like, no, I didn't bring, I shared it with you online. Unprofessional. Share 2 copies, always have. Make sure you carry your passport size photo, your Aadhaar, PAN Xerox, your certificates, if any, mark sheets, just carry. In case if they ask, you already have it with you. So that shows how prepared you are. And always reach the venue 15-20 minutes before the time. Very important. These things are monitored. They will not be explicitly telling you that, okay, we were monitoring this. This is why we rejected you. This is why we selected you. No. It's just going to be there, but they're not going to explicitly tell it to you. So always reach the venue 15-20 minutes prior. Stay hydrated, very important. During the interview, be mindful of your posture. Sit straight with your back straight up, keep your shoulders relaxed, okay? Eye contact, facial expressions, and the way now try and use gestures when you're speaking, not too much, but not nothing at all. Just keep it very free flowing. Now, never sit laid back. Never sit by crossing your arms. Never cover your face, your nose, your mouth, or touch your hair or your face. Never do that. This is your palm. Only your palm can rest on the table. Don't rest your complete hand. Don't sit like this. Not allowed. Okay. And if you find it difficult to keep your palm on the table, just keep your palm on either side of your legs or keep it on your lap. Works. But don't sit like this. Don't slouch. Don't shrug your shoulders. Does not work. Very, very important. And if you're sitting, don't lock your fingers because a rule of body language is your gesture should be free flowing. At any point of time, when you restrict the movement, then you're not using an open gesture. So don't sit like this. Don't sit like this. Sit like this. Works. It's called the steeple position. STEEPLE, steeple position, which you'll see a lot of public speakers and motivational speakers using this. Go on any YouTube channel, you'll see this because your hands are free flowing. Don't cover your right palm or your left, or sorry, your right hand or your left hand with the other. Don't ever do that. Just sit like this. Works. Okay. That's what you have to do. And of course, the interview etiquettes I've told you. Post interview, after every interview of yours, write a thank you mail to the HR. Tell them thanks for taking out time to interview you. what you really liked about the discussion, and remind them that you're looking forward to hearing from them about the next steps. Always send a thank you email to them within 24 hours post your interview. That's how you're going to be different from 100 other candidates who have applied for the same position as you. Always send a thank you email. And when you're leaving the room, make sure that you thank the recruiter for their time and tell them you enjoyed having that discussion with you and knowing more about the role. Last thing, whenever an HR asks you, do you have any questions for us? Don't say no. That's the worst thing. We feel when we say no, wow, we're trying to show that we know everything. No, you're trying to show that you're not interested at all. Times have changed, like I said. So you cannot say that I don't have any questions for you. Ask some good questions. Don't ask questions on salary, increment, leave, package, when they'll inform you, nothing. Ask about the work culture. Talk about the leadership team. Ask about how is performance measured in your role? What does success look like in this role? How can your role contribute to the ongoing project? What are the kind of learning and development programs that the company can organize for the employees? These are the kind of interesting questions that you can ask. Ask, but ask at least one. So always learn three questions and go so that when you forget, you at least have one question in your bank to ask. So that's all about right from your ATS to your resume building to what goes in it and to your interview questions, how to answer them, and your final checklist. So, yes, with this, we are done with the session. And Pradyum, you can take over. And thank you. Thanks to all the participants for staying up until here. I hope it was insightful. I didn't bore you. And I hope it was not too much for you people also to grasp. But thank you for being such an amazing audience. Yes, Pradyum, over to you.
Ma'am, we have two questions like Ragini will be asking you.
Yes, go ahead, Ragini.
Um, Ma'am, my first question to you is,
Hmm.
how can one handle salary expectations
Hmm.
or questions about, compensation when he or she is just a student or a recent graduate?
Hmm. Good question, Ragini. Thank you. So the first thing is be aware of the market standards. That's the research I was talking about. So if you don't know what the market standards are, how exactly are you going to negotiate? For any kind of a salary negotiation, that you need to have inputs from two sides. So when the recruiter is giving you or quoting you a certain package of let's say 5 or 6 lakh per annum, you don't even know what the industry standards are. How are you going to quote? You can't give an unrealistic figure. So the first thing that you have to do is go to Google or Glassdoor and check what is the average base pay of an operations manager role with, let's say, Morgan Stanley, example, as a fresher in Mumbai or in Delhi or in Gurgaon, wherever is that you want to pursue. Because city wise, the packages change depending on the expense and the standard of living. So, city is also very important. So, you'll get a range. Let's say you get a range of 6 to 8 LPA. So, you know that's the market standard for a fresher. That's where you have to start negotiating. So when they give you a 5 lakh LPA or something, or when they ask you what are your expectations, there are two things you can do. First, put the ball in their court. I'd love to know what is the budget that your company has for this role. I'm very curious about it. Put in their court, see what they're saying. But sometimes they bounce it back to you. They're like, no, you tell us. That's when you're going to use your industry knowledge and you're going to say that as per my market research that I've done, basis the current market standards, this job role in this city for this company is between 6 and 8 LPA. So that's something that I'm looking forward to. I'd love to know your thoughts and I'm open for negotiation. See what they say. And if they quote anything below salary standards, you'll have to reiterate that this is basis market standards. And I've done my education from a very reputed university, right? And I have these skills, which is also important for this job role. So I believe that let's consider a little bit up to the industry standard mark at least. They'll understand that you're not somebody who's just going to be brushed off with any salary that they quote, and then see what are they quoting between 6 and 8 LPA. So that's how you negotiate salary. Two ways. Put a ball in their court, but always be aware of the market standards and quote a range. Never quote a fixed number. I need a salary of 6 LPA. Why? What if when a candidate like me, let's say you said 6 LPA, I'm saying it's between 6 and 8. I can get an offer of 7.5, but you will be sitting at 6, although the market standards is between 6 and 8, right? So always give a range. Never give a fixed number when you're negotiating a salary. So, yes.
Thank you, ma'am. That answered the
You're
question
welcome.
really well. We have one more question.
Yes.
There's a commonly asked questions in the interview about one's weakness in any
Mhm.
interview. So, how can we effectively communicate our weakness without disqualifying ourselves in front of the HRs?
Yes, lovely question. Thanks, Ragini. So weakness is something. Can you remove the spotlight, please? So I'd like to see everyone over here. We're talking
Yes, ma'am.
about weaknesses.
Removing. Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Thank you. Okay. So when we are talking about weakness, always choose a weakness which is not related to your job role. The main problem that we do while talking about our weakness is, oh, I can't communicate. I find it very difficult to communicate. I can't persuade people. I can't convince people. Sometimes I find it very difficult to manage my time. If, as an employee, you're telling me that your communication skills are weak, why will I hire you? Be strategic. Two things. First, you're not going to call yourself weak. No negative words at all used in a resume, in your resume or in your response. You will say, I believe my area of improvement is. So you're going to use a positive connotation by substituting that over weakness. You'll always say, I believe, so that you're very strong. You're confident about your area of improvement. I believe that my area of improvement is. You'll always only mention one. Strength, three. Weakness, one. And that should not be related to your job role. For example, I am a very emotional person. I'm very sensitive. I sometimes can't say no. I'm an overthinker. I analyze things too much. I aim for perfection. Now, this HR does not care. What will HR do if you're emotional? It's none of her concern. So it's not going to affect my job role in my company. So I'm good. I don't care. But along with that, tell how you're working on it. Let's say you're saying, I believe my area of improvement is my inability to say no to certain situations. Don't stop there. Give a course of action. What are you doing to work on it? Because HRs want to see people who are actionable, who know what their strength and weakness is and they are working on it. Not somebody who just know and okay, mujhe to bas pata hai, that's more than enough. No. So if I say my inability to say no, however, I'm working on it by being more clear, communicative, and through my active listening skills, I'm trying to express my concerns or my reasons of why I'm saying no well, so that I do not get overwhelmed with a lot of emotion. So whatever you're saying, tell me what you're doing to work on it or improve on it. So that's how you handle a question of what is your weakness. Clear, everyone?
Thank you so much, ma'am.
You're welcome. All right, then, Pradyum, I think we are done with the question.
I'm just like the closing speech, and then we'll be done with the session.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes. So,
As we
close.
conclude this, oh,
Sorry. Yes, go ahead,
ma'am,
go ahead.
sorry, ma'am.
No, 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 please go ahead. Don't be
As we
sorry.
conclude this insightful session, we are confident that the valuable insights shared today will benefit our attendees in their future pursuits. Ms. Vrinda Gupta provided essential guidance for crafting an optimistic resume and mastering interview techniques, giving us the practical tools we need for our journey to success. On behalf of Entrepreneurship Development Cell and Incubation Center of St. Xavier's College, Autonomous Kolkata, I sincerely thank Ms. Vrinda Gupta for sharing her vast knowledge and expertise. A special mention to our respected principal, Reverend Dr. Father Dominic Savio, SJ, and Vice Principals, Reverend Dr. Father Joseph Kulandar, SJ, Reverend Dr. Father Peter Arokium, SJ, and Professor Bertram de Silva, for continuously encouraging us to pursue greatness and live up to the great Xaverian reputation. I also extend heartfelt thanks to our faculty advisor, Dr. Arup Kumar Mitra, for his steadfast guidance and support at every step. We sincerely acknowledge our attendees for being patient, interactive, and for posing such thought provoking questions. Last but not least, I extend deep appreciation to the members of Entrepreneurship Development Cell and Incubation Center, as well as the Placement Cell for their dedication, timely execution, and unwavering support in organizing this event. The credit form will be rolled out in the YouTube live chat. Attendees are requested to fill it immediately. Once again, thank you all for tuning in with EDCIC. Have a pleasant day.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. I hope that it's been an insightful session for all of you. And we've got some insights into the job market, the entire journey of this interview prep and resumes. So yes, good luck to each and every one of you. Special thanks to Pradyum for reaching out to me and for making this possible. Thank you everyone, and good luck to all of you with your interviews and with your career. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for the session, ma'am.
I have the permission to leave?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you everyone. See you. Bye bye.
Thank you, ma'am.